Hello, welcome to Fix It with Fowler. My name's Steve and today I'm going to show you how to install some guttering and a downpipe on your shed to prevent your shed from rotting and get rid of any excess rainwater. Okay, so before we go into the main video, if you've not already, please subscribe to my channel. If you like what you see, give my video a thumbs up, and even better if you could leave a comment, that'd help my channel to grow. Don't forget, as part of this series, we've got how to lay a shed base, how to cut a concrete slab, how to mix concrete, how to felt a shed roof, and finally, how to put some guttering on your shed. So to install the guttering, you're going to need some basic DIY tools. A chalk line, if you've got one, will be handy. Some Vaseline, and that will help put the guttering together. Some wood screws with a domed head, and obviously you'll need guttering, downpipe, some brackets and some various fittings depending on where you're going to take your guttering to. Okay, so the first thing to consider is which way the guttering is going to fall, and what I mean by fall is which way the water is going to run. So in this instance, the guttering will be higher at the right hand side to the left hand side, so that water will run down and then come down the downpipe. So what we need to do, we need to get a bracket and decide how high we're going to do the first bracket, the highest point. So we don't want the guttering to actually foul on the felt. So if we take a measurement at this end, and then if we allow for a fall over this run of a couple of centimetres, maybe 15-20 mil, and then that'll allow us to run a string line and get the middle bracket exactly where we want it. Okay, so now we've got our marks at each end, we're just going to get a chalk line and run a line through. Now if you haven't got a chalk line, you could just use a straight edge, a ruler, a piece of wood, whatever you've got. So now we've got a chalk line down here that we can find the centre and we can measure in, come into where it's suitable. Now I've got this downright piece of wood here, so that's ideal for a bracket. We'll put one in the centre, and then this end will be supported by the actual hopper. So these come with lugs. You just drill them out yourself and then you can screw them into position. That'll ensure the guttering is going to run straight. The rainwater will fall in and run down to this end, and then we can put the downright in. Okay, so we want the first fixing for the bracket to just come in slightly from this, because we've got to allow for the end cap of the guttering. So if we come into something like 65 mil, then put that down, that will give us a nice straight line for the actual bracket. And then we can hold the bracket into position. Now what we're looking for is to line this top section of the bracket up with this chalk line here. So if we just go roughly, that'll allow us to put a fixing in there. Now you can pilot this, but I don't really think there's any need. We're only using short screws. Now you could just use one fixing, and I think that would be ample, but I'm going to use two. So this long attachment really helps for this, so you can get in quite easily. So that's the first bracket up. Now we're just going to repeat that for the middle bracket, and then I'll show you the end bracket after. Behind here I know there's solid fixings, so we can put that through there, again using the long attachment for my drill. And that's the end piece of the guttering. And now we can take a measurement for the guttering we can put the end cap on, take a measurement, and we can complete that. Okay, so a top tip when you're putting guttering together is to get yourself some petroleum jelly and line either the back edge of the guttering or the inside of the rubber seal. Now the reason for that is when you push this guttering together, it tends to move this rubber seal, and we actually want that sat in place. That's what stops the water leaking out that you commonly see on guttering. So what we're going to do is just going to take the lid off this. I'm going to put a bit on the back edge of this guttering, and put a bit on this rubber. So now when we slide these together, nothing will actually move. They'll just slide in nice and gently, and we won't have to worry about moving that rubber seal. So the final piece is get your clip. This is a retaining clip. Push that round. Now this can be quite tight, so take your time. I've snapped quite a few doing this in the past. And that's it on. Now that will provide a waterproof seal, and now we can measure from this end to the next joint, which will allow us to cut it. Now just to finish this rough edge off, you can just run your fingers over it, so long as you've got gloves on, and that'll just take off any burrs. You could also run a knife just across the edge, just take off any bits, or a bit of sandpaper. So as we did before, we've just put some petroleum jelly over the end of the guttering and also in the joint itself, and that will allow us just to slide this in without too much friction. So you can just pull the clip round, clip that over, and that's it in. And then all we've got to do is drop the other brackets in, and the guttering will be in place. Okay, so we're not actually going to glue this together at the top, and the reason we're not going to glue it is that will allow us to take it apart in the future if it becomes jammed up with leaves or anything like that. So that will slide on like that. And then what we want this actually to run down quite level. So if we put that into place, now I can get a fixing down near the bottom. Now because we're going into the edge of the wood, I'm actually piloting the screws, otherwise we've got a chance that it could split it. So then what we're going to do, we're just going to force that in a bit. We'll do exactly the same thing, we'll just pilot that. Put that screw in at a slight angle, and then when we screw that tight, that will actually grip the downpipe better. Okay, so to make the set, we've measured the distance that we need. So that is the distance from this mark to this mark, is centre to centre. So what we're going to do, we're going to line that up the best we can. Line that up. Then we're going to take a measurement from this edge to this edge, which is about 46 centimetres or 460 mil. We can cut the pipe. and then we can put that into position. When we're happy, we can actually glue that in place. Okay, so this is the final piece. I'm just going to get some glue on this, push it into place, and then that will drain into the gravel. Okay, so that's the guttering complete, the downpipes in. Pretty pleased with how that's turned out. Don't forget, if you've not already, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.